Welcome. This is Jeff Fort here, bringing you how to increase prices and keep the customer. Today we're on video 7 and we're going to discuss step number 6 in the 7-step process to increase your prices and make them stick. Today's topic is doing the deed, telling the customers about the new price. Just to refresh, the 7 steps to success are: number 1, accept yourself; number 2, know what you're actually selling; number 3, know what the buyer is buying; number 4, know the numbers; number 5, increase the price; number 6, doing the deed, telling the customer; and number 7, make the cash stick. Doing the deed. The time has arrived to make it happen. You've decided on the increase, but what will you do now? And this is a hurdle where it is easy to come unstuck. The essence is planning. But at the same time, there's that old chestnut from Nike, just do it. At this point, you need to keep your nerve and remember why you are increasing your prices. So let's recap. You've done the numbers. You're focused on the value that you provide. There is room to move your prices upwards. And psychologically, you're in the right place to do something. So let's see what you need to do. Doing the deed. The first thing is to keep your nerve. You need to remember why it is that you're doing this. You're putting up your prices, and as we learned from the very first videos, there is a benefit to the customer and to yourself. It is a win-win situation. So keep your nerve. Number 2, visualize success. Understand what a positive outcome will be. And it's all the things we've talked about throughout the series. More money, more time to spend on yourself, more time to have a better quality of life, and so forth. Visualize success. Communication is the key. Give fair warning and explain reasons for the change. People will understand. They are not dumb. They will know what is happening within their industry or within their environment. For example, in the trucking industry, if diesel goes up, then we know that the cost of transport will go up. And that will feed through to the people who use transport. If you are using a product that's imported from overseas and the exchange rate changes, then that will have an influence on the price as well. People understand. There are many valid reasons why prices increase. People will often come to the same conclusions, that an increase is required, particularly if you give them the facts. For example, people generally know that going green, in terms of environmental responsibility, wind power and recycling, etc., often costs money. You need to sell the prices internally. The first sale is to yourself, and then the second is to your staff. So how often is it that you see somebody in one of the branches in a big organisation say, oh, those guys in corporate head office, they made the decision and I don't agree with these new prices. You know, they've told us the price is going up to 10%, but I disagree. I think they're just a bunch of wallies. So you need to get people on board. They need to understand why prices are going up and what it means. You need those people to be there so that they can explain the reasons to their customers. We all need to be singing from the same hymn sheet. Focus the discussion on value. And all the way through, I've been pushing the idea that it is value that matters. You need to communicate the value. People make decisions on factors that are mostly not related to the actual price. So here's some of the fatal mistakes to avoid when putting up prices. Rushing into something that you cannot justify. Spring the price as a surprise. Many people will be using your goods and services in something that they themselves supply to somebody else, part of a chain. Give fair warning. It's not a good look if you convey a take it or leave it attitude. Making concessions, putting the price up and then making concessions immediately indicates that you're not fully on board. focusing on the price and not the value. You need to focus on the value that has been provided. And getting into arguments with customers is not a good look. We should be well ahead of the game and prepared and advise people ahead of the game so that they're not taken by surprise and get into arguments. Let me illustrate this whole thing about value by looking at the traditional apple and orange. Now if you've just come from the desert and you're starving, and if you don't get something immediately you're going to cark it, as we say, or die or get horribly ill, then the choice between an apple and an orange is pretty mute. One of them will do. And so at a basic level, an apple and an orange are equivalent. And so it does come down to a matter of price. But let's look at how we could describe the apple. We can describe it in many ways. For example, we can say that it has a crisp bite. When you bite into it, you get that distinctive crispness in your mouth. We can say there are medical benefits. The old adage is, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. We can describe the apple in terms of being used to make mum's good old-fashioned pie that you eat steaming hot out of the oven with a dollop or two of cream on top. You can talk about the apple lasting a long time and there's no messy peel to take off. On the other hand, we can describe the orange in terms such as this. It has its own protective wrapping which you remove so you can be sure of the quality inside. It can be used to make delicious drinks. It is a great source of vitamin C and therefore of a health benefit. We can grate the skin and use the zest in our cooking to give orange flavours, and so forth and so on. Point is that we've changed the context by not describing the apple and the orange in the context of simply food, but in terms of the value that these products offer. And we're giving the user alternatives. If you want the hot apple pie and the things that go with that, family sitting around the table talking and being jovial and whatever goes with that, then that is one view. Or you could be sitting around the pool with a whole group of old orange drinks. Point is that when we describe it like that, then it's very hard to compare. We can't have a hot apple pie made from oranges. So instead of charging $1 for the apple, if we now charge $2 because this apple can be used in the hot apple pie, then it is almost impossible to compare that to the cost of the orange, which costs $1, because we're describing different things. Or if we turn it around and we say we will charge $2 for the orange because it makes this delicious drink and we're going to sit around the pool and enjoy the company of beautiful people, then we can't compare that to the cost of the apple. So what we've done is made it difficult to compare one with the other. We're not just comparing an apple and orange for its nutritional value, we've described a whole lot of other benefits. If you're looking for the benefit from an orange, it's almost impossible to get that from the apple, and vice versa. We need to think about the products we offer in our businesses, whether it's our time, our consulting services, or the products we sell. No matter what it is, we need to describe them in a way which makes it difficult for the user to compare so that our product becomes unique. And that is part of this deal about telling the customer. We need to explain it in a way which means value they get is tremendous. Let's look at the summary now. We go to your workbook, pages 91 to 104. These are some of the key questions that you will be looking at and answering. Keep your cool. Understand why you're doing this. Plan for the price increase. Explain why prices are changing to your customers. Look at some of the fatal mistakes to avoid. Look at how to write the letter which you will send explaining these price increases. Never spring it by surprise with a small note on the statement saying, by the way, tomorrow our prices increase by 10%. You'll look at some techniques to counter the objections. You'll look at how you can change the context of the discussion, as we looked at with the apple and the orange. And again, there'll be a summary and some action points to follow up on. So thanks for listening. The next step is to answer the questions and look out for the next video in a few days' time. Remember the old saying, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Pick a few points and focus on taking action. Ciao for now. This is Jeff Vaught here.